Focus. 40% of lottery winners go bankrupt, not because they lost the money, but because the money exposed the mind that held it. We think wealth is earned through strategy, skills, spreadsheets. But most fortunes are lost, or never built, because of stories buried so deep we mistake them for personality. Money doesn't change you, it amplifies you. And if your inner script is broken, no income can save you. So the real question becomes, what hidden beliefs are quietly steering your financial life? Without your permission, you're watching Fruity Wisdom, where deep ideas turn into sharp, life-changing insights. Subscribe and stay curious. Money doesn't start in the wallet. It starts in the mind. These 10 books reveal how that mind gets shaped, twisted, trapped, and eventually freed. Number 1, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Housel starts with a truth that flips the table: behavior over math. We obsess over formulas and forecasts, but the real battlefield? Our own psychology. Why do people with the same income end up in completely different financial lives? Why do brilliant professionals still make disastrous money choices? Because money isn't logical, it's emotional, personal, and rooted in our history. Housel draws a sharp contrast. Getting wealthy takes optimism and bold risks. Staying wealthy takes caution, restraint, and paranoia. You have to be both the storm and the shelter, the gambler and the guardian. Then he drops his cleanest metaphor, the man in the car paradox. We think buying a luxury car will make people admire us. They don't. They look at the car and imagine themselves in it. The car becomes the star, the driver fades into the background. We buy symbols hoping to be seen, but symbols often make us invisible. Housel pushes us to question our financial stories. Is that investment strategy or fear? Are you saving for the future or protecting yourself from the past? Is your spending self-expression or self-escape? Money magnifies mood. Assets reflect identity. Wealth exposes truths we rarely say out loud. And he brings it back to his core pulse. Financial success isn't a spreadsheet skill. It's behavioral discipline, psychological awareness, a human art. Housel isn't teaching you how to get rich. He's teaching you how to stay sane. Number 2, Dollars and Cents by Dan Ariely and Jeff Kreisler. Ariely dives into the elegant absurdity of how we spend. The problem isn't money, it's our psychology. Why does a $4 coffee feel painful in cash, but invisible when we tap a card? Why do discounts hypnotize us? Why do we splurge on impulse yet pause on essentials? Because the brain wasn't built for money, it was built for survival. And marketing exploits that mismatch like a magician using a blind spot. His most painful insight: we don't know real value. We only know value relative to something else. A $2,000 couch looks insane until you put it beside an $8,000 couch. Suddenly it feels wise, responsible, even smart. Relativity rewrites reality. Ariely then decodes the pain of paying. Cash is immediate, intimate, and triggers loss aversion like a siren. Digital money? Weightless, invisible, effortless. A phantom drifting out of your account with zero emotional friction. It's the difference between giving up a real puppy and sending a puppy emoji. Then comes the trap we all fall into: mental accounting. We create imaginary wallets in our minds. A $100 tax refund feels like fun money. A $100 paycheck feels serious. Same dollars, different stories. We treat money based on emotion, not essence. Ariely forces us to look inward. If every dollar is identical, why do we treat some like treasure and others like toys? If we believe we're rational, why do emotions whisper in every purchase? If we want wealth, why do we keep falling for old illusions? The answer echoes. Money decisions aren't mathematical, they're emotional, instinctual, human. Ariely holds up the mirror. We're not fighting prices, we're fighting ourselves. The real negotiation is always between desire and discipline, impulse and intention, what we think we value, and what we truly value. This book doesn't just expose traps. It reveals the truth. You're not irrational because you're broken. You're irrational because you're human. And once you understand those instincts, you finally gain the power to rise above them. Number 3. Mind Over Money by Claudia Hammond. Hammond reveals something we rarely think about. Money isn't just currency, it's chemistry. It activates neurons, stirs cravings, sparks fear, and soothes anxiety. Money doesn't just sit in your wallet, it lives inside your nervous system. She starts with a simple contrast. Cash feels heavy. Digital money feels hollow. Cash triggers loss because you can touch it. Digital payments vanish like vapor, your brain barely reacts. This is the pain of paying at the neurological level. Cash sets off alarms, pixels mute them. Hammond exposes a subtle manipulation, the compromise effect. 3 wines, cheap, mid, expensive, and most people choose the middle. Not because it's better, but because it feels safe. The pricey option anchors the mind, the cheap one plays decoy, and the mid-tier poses as the smart choice. The decision wasn't independent. It was engineered. Then she introduces a psychological heavyweight, the endowment effect. The moment something becomes yours, your identity wraps around it. You don't just own it, it owns you. Why won't we sell losing stocks? Because selling feels like failure. Because letting go feels like losing part of ourselves. So we cling, cradle, and defend our financial mistakes. Hammond asks quiet but cutting questions. Why do we guard things not worth keeping? Why do objects get more loyalty than our goals? Why do we protect possessions more fiercely than dreams? Money becomes metaphor, a symbol for safety, identity, and ego. It's rarely the object we can't release. It's the story attached to it. And she reminds us, the financial mind is fluid, shaped by habits, sculpted by sensation, altered by the medium of exchange. Cash cautions, cards numb, apps anesthetize. Hammond offers a clearer lens, spend with sensation. Invest with awareness. Detach with wisdom. Because the moment you understand how your brain handles money, you can finally handle money without being betrayed by your brain. Number 4. Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Kiyosaki's two-father story looks simple, but it's really a psychological X-ray of money identity. 2 mindsets, 2 models, 2 maps of reality leading to 2 different destinies. Poor dad, educated, employed, cautious. Rich dad, street smart, strategic, skeptical of the system. Same environment, same opportunities, yet only one becomes wealthy. Kiyosaki reveals the uncomfortable truth. It's not income or intellect. It's identity. Mindset magnifies, or minimizes, every dollar you touch. He draws a sharp emotional contrast. The poor work from fear of bills, scarcity, falling behind. The rich work from freedom, the freedom to choose, build, or walk away. Fear tightens life. Freedom expands it. Then comes his most controversial idea: assets versus liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes it out. Not philosophically, literally. Your house? Often a liability. Your car? Almost always a liability. Your job? Not security, just one income stream that can vanish. Kiyosaki's brilliance isn't in accounting, it's in awakening. He asks the questions we avoid. Are you building wealth or buying comfort? Stacking assets or collecting obligations? Is your paycheck your freedom or your prison? He paints a clear metaphor. Most people are hamsters in a high-end wheel, running harder, earning more, upgrading lifestyles, but never escaping the cage. Investors, meanwhile, build the cage others run in. Ownership over employment. Control over compliance. Cash flow over consumption. He splits the world into 2 types. The consumer who buys things that look rich. The investor who buys things that make them rich. Only one wins long-term. Beneath the bluntness and controversy lies his real message. Wealth is a worldview, not a wage. Prosperity is psychology, not a paycheck. Rich dad is a pattern. Poor dad is a warning. Kiyosaki isn't teaching money. He's teaching mindset mechanics, how belief becomes behavior, and how behavior becomes wealth. Number 5. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. Eker doesn't start with money skills, he starts with the mind. Because he believes every financial future begins with a childhood script. His core idea is unsettling but freeing. You don't have a money problem. You have a money blueprint, a subconscious thermostat, a psychological software program installed long before you knew what money meant. He asks the sharp questions. Why do some people sabotage success as soon as it arrives? Why do others unconsciously recreate struggle or chaos? Why do raises vanish through emergencies and accidents? Because the inner thermostat pulls them back to the temperature of their past, the comfort of struggle, the familiarity of tension. Eker calls these financial files. Mental folders filled with the voices you grew up with. Arguments about bills. Complaints about rich people. Sighs over bank statements. Those weren't moments. They were messages. And those messages became instructions. Here, we can't afford that. You internalized limitation. Here, money doesn't grow on trees. You stored scarcity. Here, rich people are greedy. You saved guilt and spent opportunity. Eker argues you will never outperform your identity. You can't out-earn a belief that money is dangerous. You can't outsave a belief that you're unworthy. You can't out-invest a belief that wealth corrupts. It's trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. The more you pour, the more you lose. So he asks the question we dodge. Who taught you how to feel about money? And were they qualified to teach you? Then he pivots. If beliefs are programmed, they can be reprogrammed. If files are corrupted, they can be replaced. If your thermostat is set low, you can raise the heat. He introduces rich files, new mental code, new emotional posture. Rich people create their life. Rich people act despite fear. Rich people think both, not either or. These aren't affirmations, they're identity upgrades. Eker's real genius is this. He's not teaching you how to make money. He's teaching you how to become someone who naturally attracts it, manages it, multiplies it. Wealth isn't what's in your wallet, it's what's in your wiring. Change the script, and the story changes. And the story changes everything. Number 6. The Millionaire Next Door, by Thomas J. Stanley. Stanley didn't study the loud rich, the flashy cars, designer lifestyles, curated extravagance. He studied the quiet rich, and what he found shattered assumptions about wealth. Because real wealth doesn't scream. It whispers. The average millionaire isn't the one with the penthouse and Porsche, it's the neighbor with the 10-year-old Toyota, the modest house, the simple wardrobe. The person you'd never suspect because they have nothing to prove. Stanley draws a clean line. Income is noise, wealth is quiet. Income moves, wealth waits. You can earn big and still be broke if you spend like a runaway train. So he introduces 2 archetypes. UAWs, underaccumulators of wealth. People who spend to signal success. Fast upgrades, constant overspending, lifestyle inflation, they look rich long before they actually are. PAWs, prodigious accumulators of wealth. People who save with intention. Live below their means to rise above their circumstances. Play the long game, not the lifestyle game. Why do the loudest livers have the lowest net worth? Why do successful-looking people often live paycheck to paycheck? Why do we confuse visibility with value? Because culture rewards show, but wealth rewards silence. Stanley uncovers the pattern. People who chase status rarely gain stability. People who chase stability often gain wealth. Real millionaires tend to avoid debt like a disease, budget with military precision, track expenses like researchers, prioritize independence over appearance, choose freedom over flexing. Not glamorous, not social media friendly, but incredibly effective. Stanley compares wealth to farming, not hunting. PAWs plant seeds, prune costs, protect soil, and wait. UAWs chase big kills and quick thrills. But the hunt burns more energy than it produces. Wealth is agriculture. Status is adrenaline. Then comes the mirror question. If someone studied your spending, would they see a farmer or a hunter? Stanley's message is steady and sobering. You don't build wealth by acting wealthy. You build it by acting wisely. Real millionaires don't perform prosperity, they practice it. They don't collect things, they collect freedom. They don't chase admiration, they chase autonomy. In the end, this book isn't just about money, it's about mindset, maturity, and the quiet discipline that compounds into destiny. Number 7. Your Money or Your Life by Vicki, Robin, and Joe Dominguez. Robin doesn't treat money as math, she treats it as life force. A thread connecting your hours to your outcomes. She reframes wealth with one destabilizing question: how much of your life are you trading for what you buy? Not dollars, but energy, attention, and time you can never get back. This leads to the idea that shaped the FIRE movement: money equals life energy. Every purchase is a piece of your existence leaving your hands. That $50 dinner? 3 hours of your life. That gadget gathering dust? 6 hours. 10 hours. A full day. We don't spend money, we spend ourselves. Then comes the reckoning, your real hourly wage. Your salary hides commutes, exhaustion, unpaid overtime, emotional labor. Once you subtract the true costs, many people don't earn $25 an hour, they earn $14 or $9, sometimes less. Robin asks the questions apps never dare to. If you knew the true trade-off, would you still buy what you buy? If you saw the real cost of your lifestyle, would you still choose it? If you understood the math behind meaning, would your days look different? She draws a powerful metaphor. Most people aren't making a living, they're making a dying. Slowly spending their peace, their potential, their purpose. Then comes the book's centerpiece, the crossover point. The moment your investments cover your monthly expenses, the point where survival stops being mandatory and choice becomes possible. It's financial freedom, drawn as a single line on a graph. But Robin reminds us, it's not just math, it's meaning. It's when your time returns to you, when your life expands back to its full size. She pushes you to examine the emotions behind spending. Are you buying to feel alive, or to avoid feeling empty? Comfort or numbing? Joy or escape? Mindless spending often masks mindful suffering, loneliness, boredom, stress, disconnection. Her antidote is simple and radical: conscious spending. Conscious saving, conscious living. Every dollar becomes a vote for the life you want. In the end, Robin isn't teaching frugality, she's teaching freedom. Not sacrifice, but sovereignty. Not minimalism, but meaning. Because once you understand that money is life energy, you stop wasting both. Number 8. Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. Perkins opens with a paradox that feels almost rebellious. If you die with a pile of unused money, you didn't win. You misallocated your life. The real tragedy isn't running out of money, it's running out of time while your money sits untouched. Because money only matters when it's converted into memories, moments, meaning. His thesis is bold: money has diminishing returns with age. You can climb mountains at 30, not at 90. Backpack at 25, not when your knees protest every step. We keep saving for a future self who may never arrive, while starving the present self who's alive right now. Perkins asks the uncomfortable questions. What's the point of extreme saving if you never enjoy it? What good is wealth if your healthiest years slip away? Why do we fear spending but not regret? He reframes life as a utility curve, experiences peak and decline with age. A yacht at 70 might feel nice, but a simple beach trip at 30 feels electric. A ski trip at 40 feels invigorating, at 80, impossible. Experience has an expiration date. Joy has a season. Energy has a schedule. Then comes his most poetic concept: memory dividends. Experiences compound like investments, emotionally. A trip at 30 pays you back for 50 years through the memories you relive. Memories are the only assets that appreciate over time. Perkins challenges the patterns we inherited. We know how to save. We know how to delay. But do we know how to live? Do we know how to spend with intention, not fear? Do we allocate joy the way we allocate budgets? He warns against mindless saving not for a purpose, but out of anxiety. Funding a future so vague we never use what we saved. He encourages thinking in life buckets: your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Then he asks, what must be lived now because later has limits? Which memories will pay dividends for decades? What adventures become impossible if you wait? It's a radical shift. Spending becomes strategic. Joy becomes justified. Life becomes a portfolio, and experiences become your highest yield assets. Perkins isn't promoting recklessness, he's promoting awareness. Balance saving with savoring. Use money to fuel your vitality, not bury your potential. Leave behind not unused wealth, but a lifetime of lived memories. Because the goal isn't to die the richest, it's to die the fullest. Number 9. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit. Sethi shifts the money conversation from deprivation to design, from cutting back to choosing consciously, from guilt-driven budgeting to identity-driven spending. His central idea is simple but radical. You don't need to be frugal to be free. You need to be conscious. Most people treat budgeting like punishment, a financial diet, a guilt spreadsheet. Sethi flips it with one question. What if your money could make your life bigger, not smaller? He introduces conscious spending, a joyful, deliberate allocation of money toward what genuinely lights you up. Not trends, not expectations, not guilt. Your joy, your priorities, your design. This leads to one of his most useful psychological tools, money dials. Everyone has a category where spending feels like oxygen: convenience, travel, wellness, tech, aesthetics. Then he asks, if this dial energizes you, why not turn it up? Spend more, guilt-free. Enjoy more, unapologetically. Live more, intentionally. But you can't turn every dial up. So some must go down, sharply. Sethi draws the real distinction. Cutting costs from fear shrinks your life. Cutting costs from focus sharpens it. Stop obsessing over $3 lattes and attack the real giants: rent, cars, insurance, travel strategy, investing systems. Why stress over pennies when $300 decisions shape your destiny? Sethi exposes common money traps: spending guilt, debt shame, saving anxiety. He dismantles them with humor and compassionate bluntness. He reminds us, automation beats willpower. Intention beats impulse. Design beats discipline. And his definition of rich is human, not numeric. Rich isn't a dollar amount, it's alignment. A life where your money and your meaning finally match. His emotional reframing is the real genius. Money isn't about restriction, it's about permission. Permission to enjoy what you love without apology. Permission to cut what you don't without guilt. Permission to build a life that feels authentically yours, not inherited, not imitated, not performed. This book isn't about becoming rich someday. It's about living richly now, not recklessly, not mindlessly, but consciously, with intention and self-respect. Because the richest life is the one you design with your eyes wide open. Number 10. The Soul of Money by Lynne. Twist doesn't treat money as currency, she treats it as consciousness, a spiritual mirror reflecting our deepest fears and our deepest faith. She begins with the modern diagnosis: we live under the silent spell of the scarcity myth. Its 3 beliefs shape nearly every financial decision: there isn't enough. More is better. That's just the way it is. These aren't truths, they're inherited fictions, absorbed before we even understand money. We breathe scarcity young, then carry it into adulthood. Twist asks the questions we avoid. Why do people with plenty still feel afraid? Why does abundance often increase anxiety instead of easing it? Why do we cling even when we have more than enough? Because scarcity isn't about money, it's about mindset. A worldview built on worry, whispering, if you stop striving, you'll slip. If you stop grabbing, you'll lose. If you stop growing, you'll disappear. Against that current, Twist offers a radical alternative: sufficiency. Not abundance, not excess. Sufficiency, a grounded sense of enoughness, measured not by quantity, but by quality. Not by accumulation, but by alignment. Sufficiency doesn't shrink ambition, it sharpens intention. It's not about having less, it's about feeling full. Twist describes money as a river, meant to flow, circulate, move through you. Cling to it out of fear, and it becomes a dam. Channel it with purpose, and it becomes a current. She's not preaching charity, she's teaching connection. When you shift from scarcity to sufficiency, from grasping to giving, from hoarding to honoring, your relationship with money becomes your relationship with life. Twist asks us to look beneath our consumption. Are we buying to meet needs or to numb them? Accumulating to fulfill or to distract? Spending to express or to escape? She shows that much of what we call normal spending is actually a spiritual hunger, the hunger for safety, identity, belonging, validation. Sufficiency doesn't erase that hunger, it answers it. Not with more, but with meaning. Twist reframes money as a path from fear trust, grasping gratitude, scarcity serenity, accumulation alignment. When you finally feel enough, generosity happens naturally. Not out of guilt, but out of fullness. It becomes overflow, not obligation. And, paradoxically, almost mystically, money starts arriving with greater ease. Not because you chased it, but because you stopped chasing everything else. In the end, the soul of money isn't about finances, it's about freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from comparison. Freedom from the belief that your worth is measured in digits instead of dignity. Money becomes not a master, but a messenger, reminding you that meaning, not more, is the real measure of a rich life. So what do these 10 voices teach us? That money is never just money. It is childhood. It is survival instinct. It is identity. It is fear wrapped in currency. But most of all, money is a mirror. It reflects what we value, what we avoid, and who we believe ourselves to be. When you understand the psychology beneath your spending, you stop being manipulated by impulse, advertising, and fear. You begin to make choices, not reactions. You write your own script, instead of obeying the one you inherited. And that's the ultimate wealth, to be conscious in a world sleepwalking through its purchases. Stay awake. Stay intentional. Stay sufficient. You're watching Fruity Wisdom, where ideas stay human, even in the noise. Subscribe and stay curious.